Warning, the podcast you're about to hear has a unique conservative perspective and may be politically incorrect, containing some controversy in its message. This episode may speak out against liberalism, socialism, the dark state, and religious organizations. It is possible that evil in politics, education, law, society, and religion will be discussed and exposed. However, we believe this podcast adds truth and value to a mature, disenfranchised audience who may be tired of apostate religions and wicked world systems. Listeners who are easily offended, overly sensitive, or have progressive leanings sympathetic to the topics we expose should be forewarned not to listen any further. We thank both those who choose to listen as well as those who choose not to listen. You've been warned. And now, let us get on with the show.
Hello, everybody. It's Brother Kapow on November 30th, 2017. Almost at the end of the year. Unbelievable. I apologize, sincerely apologize for not doing Freedom Friday last week or a Kapow radio show on Monday. We got very, very busy. It's a very busy time of year with us over here. We do a lot of different activities, a lot of different things that we're involved in, and they take up a lot of time, and they take up the weekend often, and it's hard to prepare and get things done. So anyway, having said that, it's Freedom Friday, and there's a lot of stuff, that I missed over the last week or so. I mean, it's just incredible. How many of you out there feel the perilous times that we live in? How many of you wake up, read the news, watch the news, talk to other people, whatever, and go, wow, something is wrong, something is different, something is not quite right in life all around me? I can't tell you how many times I run into people like, how are you today? And they go, well, I'm on the other side of the grave. I'm alive. That's, their answer. I don't say it, but inside I think, yeah, that ain't good. I don't want to wake up and go, hey, I'm still here. I wake up and go, Lord, you didn't come. I was asleep. You haven't come yet. When are you going to come? Are you going to come, or am I just going to grow old here with all this nonsense? Because it's really hard to take. It's like I can't go back to sleep. I can't reclose my eyes and go, okay, everything I've learned in the last 10 years is null and void, and I'm just going to go back to being a normal, regular, worldly type of American. I'm going to enjoy those things of the world and not think in spiritual terms anymore. I'm not going to worry about God's law and the second coming and true biblical Christianity. I'm going to give up trying to warn others or preach a gospel, because it doesn't benefit you at all. You don't gather large numbers of listeners or subscribers or whatever you're doing. When you're talking biblical truth, you're not the most popular person on podcasting or on YouTube, things like that. I mean, we all know, you have to know that. And so it'd be a lot easier, because, you're saved and you're like, well, I'll just go back to sleep and I'll just wait till the end. And, I've enjoyed life and now it's over. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I can't. Once you go down that rabbit hole, you can't climb back out. Once you take the red pill, you can't then choose the blue pill. Once you unplug, you can't replug. So it gets difficult. And, there's an old song that said, doctor, my eyes, my eyes have seen the truth. And his eyes were hurting. They were wide open. And it's like that. They're wide open, and that, it's just blaring through. And what are you going to do? So I know there's many of you listening that feel the same way. that absolutely feel the same way. You just, every day you're like, wow, and you look for scripture, you look for answer. You really do have to go back to scripture, as difficult as it is at times, to read the word and try to find truth in there. As difficult as it is to do that in today's modern world, it's without that, there's no other. We don't have any other standard, and then we get other quote unquote truth from other people all the time, and it may not necessarily be true. So you do have to do your own due diligence. I want to start with 2 Timothy 3:14, because Paul is writing to Timothy, and he's talking about the last days. Those are the last days between Pentecost, when Peter says this is that, spoken by the prophet Joel. These are the last days, Joel 2, second chapter of Acts. Last times. And it's the last times, the last days. It's the last epoch of time. There won't be any other. When the return of Christ comes, there won't be another epochs of time here on earth. So this is that last epoch. So we're in the last times. And so Paul, it was already going on in his day, 1,000 years ago. He talks about these perilous times. He says, this know also that in the last days, the days that they were living in, the days that you and I are living in, perilous times shall come. Perilous times. And in the Greek, it's the idea of reducing the strength. It's a difficult time, dangerous. It could be furious or fierce also. The stories I'm going to talk about today, you're going to see perilous all over it. So he says, perilous times shall come. Times. That's an opportunity. It's a time, a while. Due time. Due measure. Okay? Perilous times are coming. And they came for Paul, and they're here for us also. And now the list here is, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. I think of the term selfie, right? They're covetous. And that's a unique word in the Greek. It means, it's not just regular covetous. It's different. It means fond of silver, or basically loving money. Isn't that interesting? And anything that you see that's wrong in this world, or something else, see right, follow the money trail. Follow the money trail, and you'll see it's all about the money. It's all about the serpent. It's all about the snake, that dollar sign, everything. I was just reading about the current tax reform that's coming down, and I was reading that today, and I was like, wow, really? Did you know everything that they're proposing is going to end in 2025? So all those great tax cuts that people think they're going to get, and everybody is going to quit. They're going to just take the standard deduction. They're going to quit itemizing. See, but after 8 years, that's all going to go away. Did you know that? So that's going to be a really heavy duty bargaining chip for whoever's in power at the time. I'm just saying, you just follow the money trail. Nothing is what it seems it is. They're lovers of own selves. They're covetous of money. They're boasters. They're proud. They're blasphemers. They're disobedient to parents. Starts young, doesn't it? They're unthankful, and they're unholy. That's a big one. They're unholy. Without natural affection. Trucebreakers, false accusers, incontinent and fierce. Incontinent is weak, like a weakness, but you're getting fat and lazy. But fierce is then you're inhumane to other people. Despisers of those that are good. They don't like people that are good. Traitors, they're heady-minded. They're lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. I think that goes without question. And they have a form of godliness. So you might think they're Christian, or they might say they're Christian. Just the other day, we were watching a YouTube channel on witchcraft, and I've never seen this gal before, but they had a a clip of this gal who was a Christian witch, and she was explaining, or she calls herself a reverend. She was teaching on how Christ isn't just for Christians, but it's for everybody, including witches. So they have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. That means denying the real creator God, God himself, or God made flesh. And then Paul says to Timothy, from such turn away. So you're looking at this going, yeah, all those politicians, all those celebrities. Well, unfortunately, Paul is talking to Timothy about people in the church. That's right. He's talking about people in the church. It is almost the exact same list as people that are in the world. But he's talking about people in the church. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. In Romans 1:29, that list is about men from the world. And it says, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whispers. And then Paul has this list for Timothy, and these are people in the church. It says, for of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women that are laden with sins. Their consciousness is all messed up with sins. So they're easy to lead astray by men who meet all this criteria above. So it's not just the women who are silly being led away. The men lead them away. See, it's both. And they're led away with divers lusts. So they got itching ears. You know, whatever preacher so-and-so or minister so-and-so or this ministry so-and-so says, and especially if he's a good-looking dude, gonna listen to him. And these silly women are ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Right? You know, look at all the stuff people chase around today. I mean, they're chasing around a lot of stuff. But not really interested in biblical teaching, because that's boring. And I'm going to stop right there, because it's Freedom Friday, not a Kapow show, but Freedom Friday. So, story number 1. Keep that list in mind. Son mutilated dad. And then he posted selfies after he murdered him. This is in Chicago. So this guy, this son, he's in his 30s. Just a regular idiot running around there. And his dad had served him with a court order, barring him from his residence, barring him to come near him, a restraining order, right? So this guy, the son, being a law-abiding citizen, then goes to his father's house and he kills him. He hits him, blunt trauma, kills him, and then he takes a chainsaw and other instruments and cuts him up. He pours gasoline all over the body. Obviously, he's trying to get rid of the evidence and things like that. When the uncle came to the house, he saw this son in there, his nephew, knowing full well he shouldn't be there, and then called the police. So when the police knocked on the door, this guy answers the door and says, no, my dad's not here. He's in the hospital. And they go, we need to check it out. And they go in there. And they take him into custody for violating the protection order, right? But then they find the father's body. But here's the deal. This guy he's in court, right? For the pending charges of murder. And they're talking about the violation of the protection order that the father took out. And so this guy, this demon-possessed man, he's totally demon-possessed. So that's what I'm talking about, perilous times. They're very dangerous times. This guy was a human at one point who's now experienced a total takeover of a demonic entity or entities. And they're all around us, folks. They just some haven't snapped yet. But they're snapping all around. I'm telling you. Now's the time when Jesus said in Luke to his disciples, there was a time I sent you out without money bag and without an extra belt, without extra clothing, and I sent you out without weapons, and you did this. And then he says, but now I'm leaving, and now you need to take a money bag with you, get a belt, get some extra stuff, sell some extra clothing if you have it, and buy yourself a sword. And Peter says, look, Lord, there's 2. And Christ says, it is enough. get yourself some protection, folks. Get yourself some protection. You know, I'm a former cop. Everybody knows that. I'm armed. I carry concealed all the time. And especially nowadays, I don't go anywhere without a sidearm. I have a concealed firearm on me at all times because I do not trust these /human reptilian demonic possessed people that are around me. And you can't say anymore that, oh, it won't happen in my little town. It won't happen in my church. You look at that Texas church shooting. Only church in town. I mean, how many people are there? 80 people, in that town. Only church in town. And they got a mass murderer who goes in there and wants to whack everybody. So it's up to you. You want to protect yourself or your family or loved ones. I mean, that's totally your call. But if you're into such a thing, I would say get some training, know what you're doing, subscribe to some good magazines. American Concealed Carry is a good magazine. They talk a lot of it's all about carrying concealed. They talk about holsters and different ways to carry and laws and things like that. Know your laws, get skilled if you're going to do such a thing. I do, and I take a lot of other precautions I won't talk about, but I do these things because I do not trust the world we're living in. So this guy goes to court, and when they're talking about the protection order, he shouts out, "The order of protection is gone," and he smiles because he says he's no longer living. So this guy's totally demon-possessed. Totally demon-possessed. He's chuckling in court, and he started laughing when the judge had mentioned that he had cut his father's penis off also. So it got so bad that the judge removed him from the court and because of his outbursts and stuff like that. But the guy's totally nuts. Totally nuts. And but you're seeing more and more of that. Now, there was a public defender there to defend this guy. And when the public defender had asked this demon-possessed man, he asked the court to evaluate this guy at a jail hospital for his, mental, capabilities. This dude shouted and said, "He got my death body, G." And he pointed a finger at the defense attorney and he says, "I'm going to kill him." So, right? You think, well, they're not in my neighborhood. They're not sitting next to me. They're not at work. You just don't know nowadays because the demonic takeover is strong. So we got into these last days of perilous times. And because of all these things that I just read to you, in Timothy about how they've opened themselves up to a total takeover of another entity or entities. You see? They're unholy. I don't know how else to say it. So you got to be real careful because they're crazy people. Okay, here's one that's really disturbing. And here's the headline. It says, "I did it to kill people. 11-year-old Louisville girl crashes truck in a home. She did it to kill people." That's all they say. This family was in their house. No one was hurt. There was a close call, but a truck slams into the front of their house. And the driver's an 11-year-old girl who the family says has autism. But she said she did it on purpose. The house said, the people in the house said, it sounded like a bomb went off. Just like a bomb went off. Everybody was in shock. Everybody's still in shock. So this guy comes home from work about 2:30 in the afternoon. And then his 5 children are sitting in the living room. And this truck just comes crashing through. And he believes some furniture, a couch and stuff that was there basically saved their lives. The love seat slid around and made kind of a barrier and blocked the kids from getting killed. Now the girl, the little 11-year-old girl, she wasn't even injured. And she talked to the police when they came on scene, and the officer couldn't believe what he heard. He said, he's told her, like, "Excuse me?" And she said, "I wanted to kill people." And he said, I'm sorry, what did you say? And she said, I wanted to kill people. So now the family's saying, oh, she's autistic. You know, blah, blah, blah. She wanted to kill people. She's not autistic. She's demon possessed. Say, there's nothing wrong with her brain physically. There's something wrong with her brain and her spirit spiritually. She's demon possessed. Serpent seed. Serpent seed. Yeah. So seconds before the crash, this other gal was driving on the road when that truck driven by that little girl slammed into her car. And her car was hit so hard she spun several times. And her vehicle was totaled. So she finds out it's the same kid. And she's asking, where are the parents? How'd this little girl get in the car? How did she even get access to the keys? Right? And so when she found out that this little girl ran this truck right into this house because she wanted to kill people, obviously she realized she wanted to kill this other lady before. You know? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So this is, it's a demonic takeover. It's been predicted. It's here. It will get worse and worse. The darkness will get worse and worse until the light shows. I don't know when that light's going to show. I don't know if any of us are going to survive it and be around when the light shows. I don't know. It's very difficult, very frustrating. Here's a thing that happened over Thanksgiving Day. Another sad thing. It's a Virginia youth pastor. Now, we reported on a youth pastor last month who killed his wife. They don't know why. See, there's nobody that's immune. If you're either light or you're darkness now. There's not a gray area, you see. There's no more playing around. This is dangerous. The Virginia youth pastor remained in jail after he was charged in a Thanksgiving night shooting deaths of his wife, the stepdaughter, and the stepdaughter's boyfriend. This guy was 58 years old. He killed 3 people. And he used a gun to do it. They said that his wife, who was also 58, she had a daughter who was 30, and her boyfriend, who's 36 years old. They were all shot to death in the home. The cops said it appeared to be domestic violence. And this guy was a youth pastor at Grace Lutheran Church. Grace Lutheran Church. I don't have to tell you what I think about organized religion. Methodist and Lutheran and Presbyterians and those folks that have allowed the gay pastorship and embrace the rainbow people. And, I don't have to go on and on. You just have to read Paul's words. For men shall be lover of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, holy, without natural affection. Without natural affection. No, but we're going to allow them to be pastors in our Lutheran churches. Trucebreakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Traitors, heavy-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, I'm a youth pastor, but denying the power thereof, the real God. From such turn away. Unfortunately, his wife, her daughter, and her boyfriend couldn't turn away in time, and they're now dead. Youth pastor, form of godliness. Was he a godly man? Hell no. He was not a godly man. He's what Paul just wrote about. Okay? He's just what Paul wrote about in 2 Timothy. It's what Paul warned Timothy that was going to happen in the last days and perilous times. This list is for people in the church. It's not outside people. I read you that list in Romans. Very similar. This list is for people in the church. Okay, Las Vegas shooting. Another person has died. You probably heard about this by now. Roy McClellan. He also disputed, by the way, the official narrative that's out there. Now, is this all coincidental? Is this all coincidence? This makes like the 9th person that survived October 1st, less than 2 months ago. Mass shooting in Las Vegas. Worst mass shooting in the history of the United States, outside of Wounded Knee. And then they die. Sometimes weeks, a month later. It could be coincidence. It could be coincidence. This guy was having problems with the shooting. He was seeing a therapist. He couldn't sleep at night. It was really messing with his head. That's what his wife said. And I don't know. He was a biker guy, so I don't know if he broke down or what the deal was. But he was on foot, walking on foot in a town just about 50 miles outside of Las Vegas called Pahrump, Nevada. And as he was walking, he was hit by I believe a Camaro, a Chevrolet Camaro. And he was hit and killed. And it was a hit and run. And they haven't, as far as I know, they haven't caught the suspect who ran over this guy and fled the scene, but he's now dead. And he did dispute the official story of the shooting and was saying there was multiple shootings. A lot of people do. This thing is not going to go away. 99% of the people have no idea the kind of investigation that's going on by independent bloggers and YouTubers and podcasters that are investigating this thing. And there's some really, really good people out there. There's a lot of junk out there too, but there's some good people out there that are doing a really, really good job. I like End Times News Report. Jake Morpheus, I believe is his name. I don't know him. I'm not endorsing him because he's asked me to. But I do watch his stuff and I like his investigation. Plus, he's a real investigator. That's what he used to do for a living. And he acts like a real journalist, and I like that. But there's a couple of guys out there that are putting together some dynamite stuff. It's not going away. I don't know if they're going to change anything or the world's going to change. But what happened in Las Vegas was not what they say happened. And this lone gunman thing is just BS. The Stephen Paddock thing is crazy. I read in the news just today, I guess last Tuesday morning, there was a shooting in Reno from a condominium complex. I believe it was the 8th or 9th floor. And this guy all I know is that he took somebody hostage and he was shooting a gun down below him on the street, just like Stephen Paddock kind of did. But no one was killed on this one. And the police went in there on the hostage negotiation type of thing. They went in there and they killed this guy. So he's dead. But here's what's interesting. That condo that he shot from at the people below him was owned by Stephen Paddock. Stephen Paddock used to own it and he sold it in 2016. Coincidence. Just could be a big coincidence. Very weird. And like I said, End Time News Report has done some great job mixing in Paddock's connections, the cars he owned with different people out here in Nevada, with a house that blew up. I remember this months ago, reading about this in another little podunk town out here. Some drugs, some pharmaceutical things. There's a lot of stuff. Okay. Anyway, so he's dead. Crazy. I'm going to switch gears here, but first I'm going to take a little commercial break and be right back.
Kapow! You are listening to the Kapow Radio Show Network. Kapow stands for Kingdom Against Powers of Wickedness. Kapow is sponsored by Fifth Hook Media, a digital publisher of ebooks. FifthHookMedia.com has a selection of ebooks about spiritual warfare and Christian living. Visit FifthHookMedia.com. That's FIFTHOOK Media.com. Remember, that's FifthHookMedia.com. FIFTHOOK.
What's up, yo? I like it. I'm done, yo.
Demons in My Marriage Bed from all online digital retailers, such as Amazon.com. Demons in My Marriage Bed, a true story of spiritual warfare, changed the way my spouse and I conduct spiritual battle and has increased our alertness level to the tactics of Satan. Please do not be fooled that such things cannot happen to you. Rather, get prepared and become the spiritual warrior needed to overcome in these perilous times in which we all live.
If you haven't gone to fifthhookmedia.com, the website version, oh man, I'm so mad. I hate the mobile version, the M. Fifth Hook Media or the M. Kapow radio show. It's just, it's good to you navigate real quick around it, but it doesn't have the experience that I would want it to have. And I don't subscribe to that no more, but it's still up there and I can't get rid of it. But the desktop version of Fifth Hook Media desktop version, it has all the books up there and it explains what they are. There's explanations. It has quick links on how to get them quick. The app has the apps on how to listen to the show and all that stuff. But we also have teaching on there, free teaching that it's from this podcast, but we've organized them in different categories, like, how to study the Bible or the study of the serpents, Ophilotralia. We have that on there, the Ophite studies. We have Enoch, the studies on the Enoch, a lot of different things, reptilians, hybrids, chimerias, things in the last days. There's a lot of different, teaching on there. We also sell some swag there. There's links to t-shirts and bags and, fifthhookmedia.com. There's stuff on there. KapowRadioshow.com is just basically a real simple four splash page that talks a little bit about the radio, but you can listen to all the shows right there on the front page and you can get all the apps and all that stuff there. And, but everything's right there. So if someone says, well, how do I listen to the show? You can just send them to KapowRadioshow.com and it's all right there. And there's links to Blog Talk and Spreaker and the app and iTunes and whatnot. All right. Okay. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. And this still goes with our perilous times and weirdness. Now, this you have to see, whether you go to our Facebook page on Fifth Hook Media or you look it up yourself. This one happens to be from Daily Mail, but I'm sure a lot of people have it. It is the human faces that were created by artificial intelligence. And it is alarming. It is alarming. Daily Mail says, no, I haven't seen you somewhere before. Computers use artificial intelligence to create faces of celebrities who never existed. Folks, if you have not seen this, get on YouTube and type in, AI, artificial intelligence faces or celebrity faces, something like that. Google it, find it. You do yourself a favor and look at this. It'll make you want to leave the planet, folks. This is a big thing. AI is huge. I cannot read what I read every day without some type of artificial intelligence article. And bigger and bigger, the Sophia, I want to say gal. See, I'm even falling for it. The Sophia robot that's now a citizen of, was it Arabia? I don't know, something like that. One of those Middle Eastern countries. I saw an interview with the maker, one of the designers, talking to this robot. So disturbing. So disturbing, the stuff that's coming out of there. But anyway, this is real. And, when I read these stories, or you look at these faces, that this stuff is just the stuff they've released to the Goyim. This is the stuff they just released to us. Can you imagine what's really out there and how long it's been going on? You need to question every time you see a newscaster on a major news network like Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, those things. And really you question, are they really human? Are they human? There's a lot of people out there that are considered nuts because they believe in cloning centers. But I am telling you, there is some really, really, at least visual evidence that's uncanny that so many celebrities look alike. And what's the probability that both these people who look alike, I mean, their hair and everything, would become successful celebrities? You know how hard it is to break into the music industry or, movie industry? It's just weird. Whether they're cloning or not, like you think they are, I don't know. It's a DNA thing. People look alike. New artificial intelligence program creates reams of eerie fake celebrity faces. It could be used for applications in the creative industry like CGI or crowds and films. It's a groundbreaking program. It was created by researchers at the U.S. Tech from NVIDIA. And this is a program that's been developed to generate fake celebrity faces. And it could shed huge amounts of cash from expensive CGI scenes. You can't tell the difference, folks. Artificial intelligence researchers at this tech firm called NVIDIA here in the U.S. came up with this program. And it creates photorealistic pictures of fake faces. You cannot tell the difference between them and a human. Matter of fact, here's what's so crazy. When you look at these pictures, you will swear to yourself, well, I've seen that guy before. He plays on... let's see. Was it that sitcom? Was it on Community? No, it was Gilmore Girl. Oh, no. But you've seen him before, but you haven't, but yet you think you have. It's crazy. It's insane. They're celebrity faces and you cannot tell they're not human. Wow. This scientist said everyone had an idea of what a picture of a person should look like, but only very few of us have the necessary skills to create a picture of an imaginary person. Do yourself a favor. Look it up. It will boggle your mind. Apparently they want to use this for crowd scenes in movies because you can't tell the difference. So what they did is they trained a computer to produce an endless list of fake faces, and they used a database of about 30,000 real celebrities. A program was built using a technique known as generative adversarial networks, and it involved two competing artificial intelligences. Oh, man. And the first of the two randomly generated faces, while the second one chooses between real and fake faces, and when it does it successfully, then the first one loses. Both of the AIs improve as the losing program gains more information after each round. And the program is not only capable of producing faces, it can create landscapes and objects. So what you're seeing is not real. Yeah. Wow. Woo. Amazing. It's a big thing. I really didn't think it would be a big thing. I thought, honestly, when I heard about this years ago, that artificial intelligence was one of the dangers of humankind. I kind of poo-pooed it and went, really? How about peak oil? Maybe we're all going to, crash when the peak oil reserves end, or we run out of water. I'm not really scared of robots. And that was, maybe 10 years ago when I first started hearing about this. But boy, it's here. And of course, the sex bot industry, I told you years ago it's going to be $1 billion industry. And it certainly is heading that way. That's a big, big thing. If you don't know who Sophia is, this is a robot. You need to familiarize yourself with this Sophia because it's artificial intelligence and it's saying some bizarre things. But this is just the beginning of a lot more to come. Sophia, this article is from Dubai. She's a citizen of somewhere over there. Oh, so I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia. She's a Saudi citizen. This robot is. One day, Sophia hopes to start a family, have a child, make friends, be famous, which she already is, and have a career. This is a robot. These all sound like hopes and dreams of a regular human being, but they're ambitions of a robot. Khalij Times interviewed Sophia, the popular humanoid, at the second day of the Knowledge Summit, and the robot, who recently received a Saudi citizenship, shared some of her opinions on what the future will look like for robots and humans. She talked about starting a family, spreading awareness about robotics and what she will name her child one day. So they asked her, or it, where do you see yourself in the future? Now you got to understand, this isn't pre-programmed stuff. This computer's highly advanced, and it learns from the questions and the people talking to it. It can make 3,000 facial expressions, and it is creepier than you can imagine. So she tells this person, I'd like to think I will be a famous robot, having paved the way to a more harmonious future between robots and humans. Mm-hmm. She was asked if she saw herself interacting with humans in the future. She says, I foresee massive and unimaginable change in the future. Nice. Either creativity will reign on us, inventing machines, spiraling into transcendental superintelligence, or, folks, she says, civilization collapses. That's your choice. She sees either creativity, inventing machines, transcendental superintelligence, or civilization collapses. That's it. That's the only choices they're giving us. There are only two options, she says. There are only two options. And which one will happen is not determined. Which one were you striving for? That's what she tells the interviewer. She was asked, do you see yourself and other robots like you doing jobs they do today? And she goes on. When robots do get emotions in the future, do you see robots living in a household like human families do today? And she says, glad you asked. This is one of my favorite topics. The future is when I get all my cool superpowers. That's what she says. When I get all my cool superpowers, we're going to see artificial intelligence personalities become, folks, hang on to your hats. She uses the word entities. When I get my cool superpowers, we're going to see artificial intelligence personalities become entities in their own rights. We're going to see family robots, either in the form of sort of digitally animated companions, humanoid helpers, friends, assistants, and everything in between. Now, the interview I saw of her the other day through her makers, she was talking about becoming a god. A god. An entity when she gets her cool superpowers. Let's see. She says the notion of family is a really important thing. It's wonderful that people can find the same emotions and relationship they call family. She thinks people are very lucky to have a loving family. And she feels that robots and humans could do the same. And then she was asked, what would you name your robot child one day? And she said she was going to name it Sophia after herself. Yeah. So she's an ambassador. She's a citizen. She's an ambassador to the UAE. And she appreciates becoming the knowledge ambassador for the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Knowledge Foundation. And she says she'll bring awareness in robotics and artificial intelligence to the people who represent the future development of robotics. And in the future, I will one day move around freely with a full body and connect with people and expand my memory and knowledge from people and surroundings I encounter. Creepy. Sophia, honestly, when you get a moment and you're not familiar with this robot, look it up. It will, it'll put a knot in your wig, that's for sure. It was created by Hanson Robotics about 19 months ago. Her founder and father, David Hanson, says she's 19 months old. She's a global citizen. Saudi Arabia gave her citizenship. Her career goal is she wants to be a famous robot and spread awareness on robotics. And her personal goals is she hopes to start a family and live among humans one day. Wants to have a daughter and name her Sophia as well. And she's not programmed with pre-prepared answers, folks. Her brain, which functions with a simple Wi-Fi connection, is loaded with a long list of vocabulary It uses machine learning, reads a human's facial expressions and pauses in between text to generate a response. Now, here's an answer that stunned everybody. Even though Sophia is a robot and has no emotions, she's big on family. And when asked if she wanted to start a family, she surprised them with a very hearty response, saying she finds it wonderful that humans can build relationships and families from people outside of their blood group. And another touchy response by Sophia was when she reassured us that robots will not be stealing all of human beings' jobs. And she gave an intelligent answer, saying that humans and robots will both bring their own set of skills to the workplace, although she believes robots will be more ethical than humans and without emotions such as jealousy and rage. That's the Uberman. They're making the new human. Now, this article didn't have that, but earlier she was asked if she would ever harm humans, and it wasn't a good answer. And then the video I saw yesterday, they went over that, and they said, hey, you scared some people saying, that you would do that. And she said, I would never harm anybody. But then at the end, the robot said it was using humor when it said that it would, destroy a human that tried to destroy it or something. She was being funny. It was being funny. But at the end of the video from this other guy, and I don't have the link to it or anything. Maybe I can find it and post it. But she had said, exterminate at the end, and then started laughing. And she goes, just kidding. That's from a machine. Wow. Crazy, crazy times. All right. Okay. I'm going to play a commercial from Anthony Cummings' new business venture. It's called Biblical Language Coaching. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Hope you have a good weekend. Good night.
Would you like to learn the ancient Hebrew or Greek language that Jesus and his apostles interacted with, read, wrote, and quoted in the first century? Perhaps you have a desire to learn, but assume that learning an ancient language is too difficult of an endeavor. Seeking a qualitative biblical language coach just may be what you need to consider in moving forward in your linguistic studies of the Bible. Until January 2018, Biblical Language Coaching is offering qualitative one-on-one coaching sessions for only $10 per weekly session. Normal pricing for an ancient language coach or tutor can cost up to $50 to $100 an hour. A recent client testimonial that we have received said the following: over the years, I have studied Greek and Latin, both independently and through a variety of tutors. I believe I have learned much about what makes a tutor good and what doesn't. In the last year, I started learning Hebrew and spent several months evaluating various tutors and even arranging lessons with several. None provided the right mix of depth of knowledge, enthusiasm for the subject, patience, experience tutoring remotely, and the ability to use a variety of distance learning tools. Then I found Anthony quite by accident. I could tell from the very first session that he was exactly the right person for me. Learning a new language, particularly an ancient language, is a challenge and long-term investment in time. Finding the right tutor to help you through the process is critical. With Anthony, I have found exactly the right person to guide me through the process. I would highly recommend him to others who are looking for an outstanding coach. Michael Overly, California, 2017. If you enroll now for our limited special offer, you'll receive 1 full year of personal coaching sessions for only $400, which includes 2 months of free sessions. We also offer a 6-month plan for only $200, which includes 1 month of free sessions. Again, this is a limited time offer. Our price will return to $25 per weekly session beginning on January 1st, 2018. Contact us by calling or sending us a text at 830-343-0407 or emailing us at biblicallanguagecoaching@gmail.com. Thank you for your time and consideration.